Hello Internet, this is Michael B. the Game Genie, and this is another episode of my game pickups from the new Adventure Island. So guys, I'll start off by showing you probably the least interesting thing I picked up recently, and that is a game for the Nintendo 3DS, but it's a game I'm extremely excited about, and that is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I'm a huge fan of the original Luigi's Mansion on the Nintendo GameCube, so it's no surprise that when I heard about this game, I've been patiently waiting for it to come out. So I picked it up opening day, and honestly, I can't tell you that I'm disappointed. Do I think it's as good as the original Luigi's Mansion? No. But overall, it's an amazing game, and one of the best games on the 3DS, so if you own a 3DS and you're looking for something to pick up, this is definitely a game I would advise you to take a look at. I also had a really good streak of luck picking up some games for, I guess, the last console gen. I don't usually collect for that, like I don't collect a lot of PS2, I collect some GameCube, but I don't collect any Xbox. But if you find something for a really good price, it's very hard to turn down. So I go into a thrift store that I go to usually called the Salvation Army, and they just had a mess of games there, all for $3 a piece, and I couldn't say no. Let me show you what I got. On the PlayStation 2, I picked up Sly 2, Band of Thieves. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Sly Cooper series, but this game's a little irrelevant to me because I already have the Sly collection on the PS3, and if I'm going to play them, I'll probably play them that way, but it's cool to have it on the PS2. If I want to go back and play the original version, I can. So moving on to the Xbox, which is a system I really don't collect for, but let me show you what I got anyways. I picked up The Hobbit. Interesting game, and I really enjoyed the movie. I'm actually thinking about going back and reading through the book. That's if I can ever get through the Song of Fire and Ice, or as they're better known from the TV series, Game of Thrones books. Plus I have a bunch of Stephen King books left to read. Really haven't been reading a whole lot lately. But anyways, The Hobbit. Definitely a game I'm somewhat interested to play if I ever hook up my Xbox again. Picked up Trigger Man. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm sure it's one of those typical first-person shooters, or maybe a 3D shooter, something like Max Payne. Never played it, but I'll check it out. Kingdom of Fire. This looks like it might be actually interesting, so I'll check it out. Who's it made by anyways? Fantagram. That's a company I'm not familiar with, but really cool. Reminds me of that old horror movie, Phantasm. Looks like I'm on a run with Lord of the Rings. I actually just finished watching through all the movies recently again on Blu-ray. But anyways, Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. I can't remember, but I think I've actually heard pretty decent things about this, so I'm excited to check it out. Half-Life 2. Honestly, I've never played a single Half-Life game, so I'll check it out. I've heard a lot of amazing things about it, but that's mostly from people who play computer games. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not usually a computer game player. Going back to the days of me playing a game on the computer, if it wasn't something that was emulated, yeah, I did that. Or Wolfenstein 3D, or the original 2 Doom games, or the original Duke Nukem. I didn't really play a lot of computer games. But anyways, Half-Life 2, go check it out, see what it's all about, see what the buzz is about anyways. Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. Well, I gotta tell you, I was a really big fan of the X-Men Legends game, X-Men Legends 1 and 2. So, when this came out, I was expecting more of the same. I heard it wasn't, but anyways, I'll check it out. I'm a huge comic book fan, I love Marvel, so maybe it'll be fun. 13. Now this game came out on pretty much every system at the time. I know for sure it came out on the GameCube and PS2 as well, so I've got the Xbox version. It's a first-person shooter. Not my favorite genre, but anyways, I'll check it out. It looks like it's got some really cool comic book type scenes, cool art direction, so worth a look. Where'd you get that scar from eating? Well, you know what. Scarface, it's actually a movie I absolutely love. I'm sure a lot of people know the story of the band Blink-182. How they got the name Blink-182 was basically in the movie Scarface. Antonio Montana, I know I've said his name wrong. Anyways, Al Pacino's character, he drops the F-bomb 182 times. So, anyways, I'm guessing I'll get more of the same in this game, and it looks like kind of a Grand Theft Auto ripoff. I like Grand Theft Auto, so anyways, I'll give it a try, and I love the movie, so that should be fun. And last but not least, the reason why this video took so long to film was because I actually lost this game. When I picked this lot up, and I picked this up a long time ago, I had laid him on my coffee table, and as most of you know, I'm running pretty much a zoo here. I have a dog and 3 cats. And anyways, the cats got into the Xbox games and knocked one of them under my TV entertainment center out in my living room. And it's actually quite a pain to try to get under there, but I finally did, and I found my copy of Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. So anyways, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was probably one of the early Xbox games. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with something else, but, well, looks like it might be a fun game. I'm excited to check it out. So, again, like all these games, when I hook up my Xbox again, this is definitely one I'll plug in. So, as many of you will remember from a couple episodes back on Game Pickups from the New Adventure Island, I picked up Super Empire Strikes Back complete in box. Now, these are games that I never picked up growing up, even though I was a huge Star Wars fan, just because I found the games so ludicrously hard. But anyways, I've decided I'm finally going to go back, pick them up, and try to play through them. So I had Super Empire Strikes Back. Of course, I had to complete the trilogy. I took my next step, and I found a copy of Super Star Wars, which is the original game, and I've heard probably one of the best in the series, so I'm excited to try this out. It's got a little bit of a rattle, so I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem, but I'll clean the game. I haven't tried it out yet, but hopefully it works, and hopefully I can get these stickers off the front.
Welcome to the next level.
Again, a lot of people are probably aware of this, but I found out within the last couple of months that another YouTuber who does video games named Keebthejokinggamer, or as I know him better, Chad, actually lived here in Newfoundland. He messaged me and said, I actually live in Marystown. So we've been talking for a while. We actually do this small podcast. It's just a little bit of fun called the Newfoundland Gamer Podcast. And anyways, we've been doing that for a while. And Chad contacts me and he said, hey man, guess what? I'm coming into St. John's. We should meet up and go look for some games. Of course I'm going to say absolutely. So we go out one night and Chad had a ton of luck. Chad collects, PlayStation 2 sports games. So there's tons of that around, as most people know. But he had a lot of really good luck finding cool stuff. One of which was finding a copy of Ikari Warriors 3, which is not something you would commonly find here in Newfoundland, so good on him. I didn't have as much luck, but I did have some luck picking up stuff that I'm really interested in finding that's not common here, and that is 32X games. So we go into the store Games Exchange, and we came across a couple 32X games that I was looking for. First of which is Virtua Racing. Not the best racing game I've ever played, but thinking back on the time, there were some really cool options. Like, you can change the camera angles really cool, like they move up. And I love the camera angle where it's like high in the sky and your car is like a little tiny car. The only problem is if you go under a covered bridge, you actually can't see where the car is too. But otherwise, not a bad game. Not a great game, and certainly not a racing game I'm very good at. Next up's a golf game. I really don't care too much about golf games. Other than I think I had one golf game I really enjoyed, and that was the first Tiger Woods on the PlayStation 3. Courses look beautiful and everything like that, but otherwise, not a big golf game fan. I like Mario Golf too, that was okay. But anyways, I picked up Fred Couples' Great 36 Holes. It's another addition to my Sega 32X collection. I'm going to do the EDT1138 thing and try to collect all the games. I know I'm probably going to shell out a fortune for Spider-Man Web of Fire, but anyways, I'll pick up when I can, when I see it. So, of course, 32X is not common here, and whenever I see them, I usually pick them up if they're not outrageously priced. Last but not least on the 32X, one of the more common games, and I'm sure most people would be surprised I didn't already have it, and that is Virtua Fighter on the 32X. I'm actually not a huge fighter fan. I was growing up, I really got heavily into the Street Fighter II Mortal Kombat era, and I just love fighting games, but when fighting games transitioned to 3D like Tekken and Virtua Fighter, I kind of lost my interest. Anyways, I've gone back and played this a bit. Not a bad game. I really enjoy it, and I'm a sucker for picking up anything on the 32X, so of course I had to have it. Most people know pretty much a lot of the stuff I've had in my collection I've had ever since I was a kid or growing up. I'm one of these people that was a lifetime collector slash hoarder. But I didn't actually physically own everything that I have in my collection, like a lot of people that had a sibling. You have a brother who probably owns some of the stuff, and I'm not going to lie to you, my brother owned our Dreamcast. So, when I moved out originally, I couldn't take all the stuff because some was my brother's and he kind of wanted it at the time, so we left it up to my parents' house. So he got his hands on his old Dreamcast, and he took off with the Dreamcast and a lot of the games. Unfortunately, one of the games I absolutely loved for the Dreamcast, which was one of the first games we had, he took with him. And, of course, when we got all the stuff back, he had lost that copy of that game, and that was Sonic Adventure. So I've been looking high and low, and I'm going to be honest, Newfoundland's not a great place to find Dreamcast, Saturn, or Sega CD stuff. It's pretty poor. Actually, Genesis is starting to disappear now, too. So I didn't have a whole lot of luck, but I finally came across a copy of Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. I really wish it was a copy I had. Of course, I had the original white label copy. This is a greatest hits copy, but anyways, I'm just excited to have Sonic Adventure back in my collection. Now, I know most people are saying you can get a really cheap version of Sonic Adventure DX, the Director's Cut or whatever, for the GameCube, but I don't want to play it that way. If I'm going to play Sonic Adventure, I want to play it in its original format on the Dreamcast. You know what? I actually really enjoyed Sonic Adventure, especially that first level when you're running and the killer whale is jumping behind you. Oh man, that was just amazing. It was mind-blowing the first time I saw it, so I'm excited to relive that again. Last but not least is a game I've been looking for an extremely long time, and very, 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 very excited to have it back in my collection. And that is Shining Force CD. What happened there? I thought Sega gave that crap up. Only joking. Having a little fun with you there, Sega. A real jerk move for you guys to do that for a while, but I'm glad you're over it now. Anyways, Shining Force CD. This is, from what I understand, this is a combination of the two Game Gear Shining Force games that were compiled into one game and added to the Sega CD. There was some CD music added as well, and it's a game I absolutely love. Most people know I'm a pretty big Shining Force fan. Never owned any of the games growing up other than my friend had lent me all of his, which was Shining Force 1, 2, and Shining Force CD. Of course, he asked for them back because he traded in all his Shining Force games and Shining Force CD and his Sega CD to originally get his PlayStation 1 and Final Fantasy 7. So at that time, I gave him back these games, and I was heartbroken because I had never seen it again. Until recently, I saw one come up on eBay for a decent price. Now, I don't know how much this game is actually worth. I'm not too concerned about it, but the only times I've ever seen it on eBay.ca, it was up around the $300 price range, and I was like, that is nuts! So anyways, this copy came up for around $70, and I said, I had to have it. There's certain things I had to have. Shining Force CD is definitely one of them. So anyways, I finally have Shining Force CD back in my collection, including Shining Force 1 and 2, and of course Shining Force 3 for the Saturn, which I now own. I have every Shining Force game I want, and I couldn't be happier. Anyways guys, that's everything for this time around. I hope you enjoyed. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time. Seriously, this is a really fun game for people looking to find something to play for the 3DS. The only big difference I find the ghosts a whole lot more generic in this game than the original, so if you're looking for that same experience of Luigi's Mansion, you get the experience, but the originality, I don't think it's there as much. That's just my opinion.